To you by the Butterfly Palace. Have the best day ever at the Butterfly Palace. Springfield Greene County Park Board reminding you to go play. Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service. Call Southwest Missouri's best plumber today for a free estimate. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
And look, it is Ethan and Sarah Foreheads. We're both here. Sarah's back from Africa. Yay. We're excited about that.
It's good to be back. I know. I am excited. And thanks to Diana for all the hard work while I was gone.
She did yeoman's work by hanging out with me for a few minutes every morning.
Yes. Did you have fun?
God bless her. God bless her for that. Yeah, we had a good time.
Fun. Yeah, she's fun personality.
She is fun. So we'll talk about Africa maybe at the end of this, but as we do, we'll begin with news.
All right. After 35 years with no answers, a cold case in Douglas County appears to be solved. Bobby Lee Banks has been indicted in connection with kidnapping and killing Kelly Ann Workman. It happened in June of '89. She was mowing the lawn right outside a church in a cemetery in Douglas County when she vanished. Her body was found about a week later in a river. Two other men, Leonard Banks and Wiley Belt, are also listed in that indictment as acting alongside Banks in Kellyanne's death. She was only 24 years old at the time.
Wow.
I remember, we obviously weren't here yet, but I do remember the story of her cold case. So that was a big deal. And she was very well known. So,
well, for that amount of time to go by, so much has happened. I mean, she's probably lost family members who never got to find out about this, but
right.
Better late than never, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, hopeful for other families who are still waiting that even after 35 years, the investigators had not given up on it. So,
right. Yeah.
A Springfield police officer was cleared in a federal case that was brought against him after an arrest that he made in 2020. A lawsuit claimed Officer Brandon Helmers used excessive force when arresting Devin Ledbetter, and it left Ledbetter apparently with permanent injuries. A federal judge, though, has found that Officer Helmers acted reasonably given the weapon that Ledbetter had and the nature of the call. The court allowed a motion to dismiss the case under the rules of qualified immunity. Ledbetter is now in a wheelchair, apparently, and is still in prison for unlawful use of a weapon.
Revitalizing Jordan Creek in downtown Springfield is happening. It's on the way. It will cost a lot more, though, than originally thought. Phase 1 will bring light to the creek, literally making it more visible and spruced up. The creek currently flows through an underground box culvert beneath Water Street is what's happening. The so-called daylighting project means returning the creek back to a more natural state above ground. Future phases will include a dog park, pedestrian areas, a place set up for outdoor spaces as well. But it's going to cost, you might want to have a seat. It's going to cost $8 million more than anticipated. Multiple funding sources are going into the project. The city's now hoping for additional grants and more money from a state revolving fund loan of about $7 million.
Yeah. I don't know how you underestimate it by 8 million. That's a lot.
That is a lot. It's way off target. So I don't know also what went into that, what caused it. Inflation obviously is more now than it was. So I don't know. Then there's this down at the border. The crisis there is really, really out of control. It is just an incredible mess for everybody. Missouri Governor Mike Parson is now sending more National Guard troops to help. An additional 200 guardsmen and women and 22 troopers with the Missouri State Highway Patrol are now headed to the U.S.-Mexico border. And 250, we told you about this a week or two ago, 250 of our Guard members are already down there. So this is an additional 200. Governor Parson and other state leaders, state governors from across the country met with Texas leadership recently to get a better idea of how dire the situation is there as people just flow across the border, tens of thousands a day. Parson said in part, quote, the Biden administration's open border policies have made this crisis a Missouri crisis, end quote. And I think that's how a lot, well, now, even mayors of New York City are saying we've got a problem because a tiny fraction of the people coming across illegally are being taken or were being taken to New York City and dropped off there. And even that small amount is a crisis for New York City. So you could imagine what's happening in Texas.
Yeah. Springfield firefighters say there was no fire and no smoke at a call yesterday, but a strange odor was apparently enough to evacuate 307 South Jefferson Avenue early Tuesday morning. One firefighter was taken for an evaluation. Apparently, he is going to be fine. No word what happened there yet, but the crews are investigating and we'll keep you posted if we figure that out. You might have seen the picture circulating on social media because it made a guy look guilty, but police say he is not. A man from Olathe was at the Super Bowl parade near where that fatal shooting took place, and he was apparently handcuffed and sitting on the ground with his hands behind his back. Someone took a picture, posted it on social media. So, of course, people were assuming that he was guilty, but police say that he was not. Denton Loudermill said that he had to hire an attorney and he wants to let everybody know that he is innocent. But apparently there were multiple people arrested right there in the aftermath as they were trying to sort through who was the real criminal. Police say, though, that apparently no one who's believed to be connected to the shooting has actually been released yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can see how that happens because police are casting a wide net at that point, trying to figure out
as they
who it
should
was.
be. Honestly, I hope that this guy doesn't. And I mean, on the one hand, like if the world thinks he's guilty, then that's a problem for him. But also, sometimes I feel like police need a little bit more liberty to cast that wide net, even though someone's going to get embarrassed because they're trying not to let anybody get away,
Well, I don't think anybody's, I mean, it doesn't sound like he's blaming the police. Is he suing police?
No, it doesn't sound like it to me yet,
Yeah.
but he could,
I
is the
think
reality.
I
He
think-
could,
well,
because it went, viral, so to speak. I don't know if it went viral. I don't know how you define the numbers, but I mean, it's all over the country.
Right.
You
But
know,
the issue is somebody taking a picture of him and posting it as if he is a guilty shooter. That's social media is the issue, not necessarily police. Police are doing their best to try to find the people responsible. And something happened to make them think that he was part of the problem. I don't know what that was.
I mean,
And
I think he was just wrong place, wrong time. But
well, I mean, it also doesn't mean your picture should be posted everywhere as if you're guilty of something so horrific. So good for him for coming forward. I think he's doing the right thing by saying, hey, listen, that's a picture of me, but I didn't do it. And police will back me up. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. And they did. So,
yeah. So,
I know. I just feel like the police officers at that point, I hope that they feel like they can cast a wide net and put everybody in cuffs and then go back and figure out what's going on because it's chaotic and there's a million people.
In the moment, you do what you got to do and sort it out later. That's how I see it. If you love ice cream, and who doesn't? Ready? Right? Silver Dollar City has a new flavor at the park created by Highland Dairy. S'mores. S'mores. That's a good flavor. It will be called, wait for it, Fire in the Hole. For the
Only
new
makes
ride.
sense.
To commemorate the popular and newly constructed roller coaster, the upgrade to Fire in the Hole. The new ice cream flavor is heading to stores in April. Silver Dollar City guests will get a taste as early as March 9th at Hannah's Ice Cream Parlor right there at SDC. And we've all been to Hannah's Ice Cream Parlor because it's a good stop when you're at Silver Dollar City.
Yes. Archie's Italian Eatery on East Republic Road is closed for good. Several businesses in that same location have met the same fate. The owner, though, says in his case, it is health issues over the last couple years that have made it tough to go on and keep up. But either way, Archie's is now closed.
Yeah, I hate to see any business go out of business, small business, because it's such a hard gig. You put so much work into it, and then when it doesn't work, it's just disappointing for everybody.
Yeah.
But man, it seems like there are some buildings that are like cursed or something.
Yeah.
Because they
Although
just
the one that used to be right across from Lambert's, that place changed hands a million times.
yes,
And I was thinking the other day, actually,
yeah,
that the business that's in there now
yeah.
has been there for quite a while.
And when
So,
you drive by, you see a lot of cars outside it on weekend evenings for sure.
yeah.
Yes, that's true. I was thinking of that building where Archie's is. That's had a number of restaurants that just haven't worked, unfortunately. And then in the Battlefield Mall parking lot where Nukes was there, and then there
Oh,
was
and
that
then the Blues place or
that
whatever it was
New
called.
Orleans place
Yeah.
that was there. They're both closed now. That's another building that just seems to struggle. And I
Yep.
don't know what it is about the buildings. 'Cause I remember buildings in my hometown back in Collinsville, Illinois, on the Illinois side of St. Louis, that were like that too. There were just some buildings where nothing seemed to work. And
Hmm.
is it the building? I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, they might be leaving, but Crumble Cookies is apparently coming. We've told you this before. It is a fan favorite. And typically you'd have to drive to like Kansas City or something to get Crumble Cookies, but they've been talking about coming to Springfield on North Glenstone. And it hasn't happened yet, but apparently they are hoping to open late spring or early summer. Now, I know we said that they were going to be opening in 2023, but clearly that didn't happen. So they've pushed it back. They say they are still coming and hoping for late spring, early summer. And then they also want to open a second location eventually near the current Target in South Springfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Our kids love crumble cookie. I mean, I like it. I think it's okay.
I've not eaten a cookie from there. Remember this discussion, but when I was at Crumble Cookie, I ordered ice cream. Now, who does that? Well, it was like 500 degrees outside, and that's why I did it. And it was fine. But clearly, ice cream was not their specialty. I'll just say that. So I need to go eat a cookie from Crumble Cookie because I have not.
Yeah, the cookies are good. All right, so you're back in town. You're back. Griffin's back. You got in late Tuesday. I let you sleep in yesterday morning. You're welcome. And I did it solo, the podcast. But now you're back, and give us a couple highlights from the 2-week trip to Tanzania.
It was incredible. I think one of my favorite things is the level of joy that these people have when they have absolutely nothing, but they are so like their soul is prospering, and it's just an incredible, like, I don't know, pick me up to be around them because they love so much just life, and simplicity. And, I don't know. It was amazing.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we Sarah and I feel it's so important to take our kids at a young age to Africa, to other different places, and that was a goal of ours a long time ago. So to be able to do it is a blessing to us. But we just want them to see other cultures, how other people live, so that they have a better gauge on their lives, and they have just a better
grasp of reality for most people around the world.
Yeah, they have a better appreciation of what we have here in Springfield, in this country, and also can tell that it's not the stuff that makes you happy, because it's not the stuff that they have that gives them joy,
right?
Because they don't have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It is other things, spiritual things, and other things that just give them joy. They're content.
Yeah, and I will say this: the way that they help each other, because we on more than one occasion were with like different tour guides of sorts, and there's no competition among tour guides, which sounds crazy to any American because you're working, but you're also competing, against other companies and people. And they're not like, they just help each other. Like, for instance, at one point we got stuck and a tour company came up and like pulled us out of the mud, And then the people on the roads, like there's no road rage. Like traffic is horrific, but they like use their horn appropriately. They move over, they wave people in. Like if they need something, like they stop and they help you. Like the sense of community is unbelievable.
Well, and they're also just on a different schedule in life than we are in America. They're not getting any place fast, and they're okay with that.
Correct. Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. And even going through customs, you were doing the story about the southern border. Going through customs in Chicago was also really, really wild, because you can feel bad about America or complain about America, but the number of people this time around in customs was unbelievable. People from other countries, many of whom did not speak the language. And clearly just not from here, like going through customs. And at one point, like I was listening to one of the agents say, one of the ICE agents, do you have any return plans, any return tickets? And they're like all shaking their head. And I was like, wow, like there's a reason why everyone wants to come here. I mean, I'm all for legal immigration, but there is a reason why the world wants to come here.
Well, of course.
And even explaining that to Griffin and just, talking with all different cultures and countries of people. I think it's, yes, a blessing that our children have been able to travel quite a bit overseas.
Well, that's one of the things that drives me crazy about what's happening on the southern border is that when you go through an airport, the customs process is involved. You have to show ID. You have to go through all these things before you're let into the country. Meanwhile, down on the southern border, you just walk across. Anybody can and have been for years now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Griffin was telling me about some of the food that he got to eat, because the boy likes to eat, and they had a whole goat on a skewer, right?
Yeah.
In the fire.
It was a huge goat too.
Yeah. And he said he loved goat. He said the goat was fantastic.
Yeah. And I closed my eyes and ate it too. And I thought it was great, but I did have to close my eyes. Meanwhile, he's like going up and trying to like rip the leg off.
What did it taste like?
I think that I would say duck, but I'm not sure about that.
Duck is a little bit greasy.
It felt a little bit greasy.
It's moist. Okay.
Also on the last night, we had so many cockroaches in our room, like so many. And I was like, I was okay. And then I laid down and I was like, oh, like, are they in the bed with me? Like, I wonder if they're with me. And Griff was like, I think I saw most of them clear out. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's because you turn the light on. Turn the light back off. You don't know what's going on.
I did. So listen to my story. So the lights were off, and it had only been dark for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, you know what? I should go to the bathroom one last time, because I have so few hours to sleep that I don't want to have to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. So I just turned my flashlight on my phone and like pointed it down on my little flip-flops.
Oh no.
And there were like so many was like, whoosh, and I was like, they're back, So honestly, he's a champion. That's all I'm going to say. He's a champion.
Okay.
And I already knew that I was a champion. I've been down this road before, but anyway.
Better him than me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth.
All right. Well,
but
we're glad
it was incredible. I mean, it was a mission trip, really. So there's so many things I could say spiritually speaking, but there's kind of a flyover view of just a snapshot, I guess, of what we did.
Okay. Very good. Well, that'll do it for us on this Thursday. We'll be back on Friday and hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
All right. See ya. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us.